Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. My name is David Stark. I'm the Managing Director of KHC's Multifamily Programs. This is a public hearing related to KHC's proposed amendment of the 2023-2024 Qualified Allocation Plan. The proposed changes can be viewed at KHC's website. That's at www.kyhousing.org, and it can be found via the following path selections. If you select partners, and then developers, and then multifamily development, and then applications, guidelines, and scoring, you will be able to find these the proposed changes to the 2-year QAP. The current QAP was put in place last year and covers a 2-year period, 2023 and 2024. The changes proposed that we will be discussing today would impact the second year of the current QAP. That's the year 2024. KHC is accepting comments to these proposed changes, and those comments may be submitted to the following email address: multifamily@kyhousing.org. So with that, we'll bring up and share our screen to show the changes that we are proposing, and we'll discuss them briefly. And then at that point, we can hear any comments that anyone would like to share, again, those may be submitted to the email address noted. So in just a minute, we will bring up what is posted on our website. The first change that we are proposing for the 2024 year is in light of flooding and disaster declarations that have occurred in Eastern Kentucky. Specifically, there are 4 hardest hit counties in Eastern Kentucky: Breathitt, Letcher, Knott, and Perry. And what KHC is proposing is changing what we had initially done as far as an innovation pool, and changing that for this year, this upcoming year, 2024, to an Eastern Kentucky new supply pool. So projects submitted in the Eastern Kentucky new supply pool would be considered, if the project is in one of those 4 counties mentioned, they would be considered and evaluated at KHC's discretion. But if not awarded from that pool, they would be able to move to the new supply pool where scoring is competitive and be considered in those pools as competitive applications. So if we proceed down, the changes in that first paragraph reflect that. Those changes are also reflected in the table within the QAP outlining the pool. And I apologize, if we could go up a little bit before we get to the table. I would just want to note, though I mentioned it, just a little farther, and we'll touch on the changes. You can see these changes relate to removing reference to the innovation pool and adding in what I just noted, that the Eastern Kentucky pool will be evaluated on its own with proposals that are most responsive to the disaster recovery efforts being assessed in KHC's discretion. And as I mentioned, the projects not selected are still eligible for consideration in the competitive new supply pool based on score. From there, if we go down to the table, you will note that these changes are also reflected in the distribution. The new pool, the Eastern Kentucky new supply pool, has been added and in place for 2024, in place of the innovation pool, which is reflected in that second column, the 2024 column. And if we scroll down a little further, the asterisk or notes provided with respect to the Eastern Kentucky new supply pool notes that to qualify for that pool, the project must be located in one of those hardest hit counties noted: Breathitt, Knott, Letcher, or Perry. So that in sum is the first change that we wish highlight with respect to the QAP that we're proposing. The next change relates to scoring related to disadvantaged business entities. So this is a change, proposed change to our scoring workbook. You will see the language in the red font are changes that we are proposing to add. The other language and formatting already existed in the QAP. So the changes that we're proposing are the language in red. The first change, and these are scoring features. Oh, and we'll take it. I realize that font might be a little small, so yes, we will try to zoom in and make that a little more visible for everyone. I think that's probably as good as we can do and still fit it all on the page. The first proposed change is with respect to disadvantaged business entities, relates to the scoring piece. In this category, applicants whose development teams meet one of the requirements or one of the elements listed below regarding a member on the development team being a disadvantaged business entity and being awarded points for that. We are proposing to limit that point system to only those parties that are not related parties to the applicant, developer, or any of its principals. So that is the first proposed change. The second proposed change relates to disadvantaged business developers and co-developers. With respect to that requirement, you'll note that last sentence has had some additional language added to it. So in the third line from the bottom, the sentence begins, proof of appropriate certification from the governmental entities as defined above must be provided. KHC is adding an additional requirement that in addition to an executed co-development agreement that outlines the specific roles and responsibilities of each party, as well as the percentage of developer fee each will earn. So not only will certification need to be provided, but also an executed co-development agreement that outlines the specific roles and responsibilities of each party and the developer fee each is earning. So these are the proposed changes. There are not a lot. Again, this QAP is already in place for the current year, so these are just changes to the QAP that has been approved. And at this point, I'm willing to open the floor to comments and see if anyone has anything that maybe I did not clarify correctly or clarify enough when discussing these. And to do so, if you could maybe post in the chat any question you have, we can address that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like we've received a question. When we say scoring, does that relate to 9% applications or does it apply to 4% applications as well? So this is the QAP scorecard for the 9% application round. Okay, so the next question is for MBE research. For MBE certification purposes, will KHC recognize certification from the Human Relations Commission for the City of Louisville? So the certification process is already outlined NKHC's guidelines. So I won't respond to that question specifically, but no changes regarding which organizations are acceptable will be made at this time. And bear with me 1 second. The organizations are listed currently on that page that's visible on the shared screen, and so no changes are being made to that. Okay, so the next question is, KHC is accepting written comments until March 31st, 2023. That is correct. That is the deadline to submit comments. And again, that the email address where those can be submitted is multifamily@kyhousing.org. All right. Well, I will hang on just a few more seconds to see if anyone has any questions. If you do and you're having trouble typing it in, please feel free to type in quickly and let us know that you're working on one. Okay, we do have a couple more that have come in. Will this presentation be available on KHC's website? The recording of this presentation will not be available, but the QAP itself is available for review. The next question, for those MBEs that were awarded in last year's rounds, will there be exceptions for the IRS requirement for additional funding? Given the specificity of that question, we will take that into consideration, or that could be really that can be submitted separately, and we can address that if we need to. Okay, the next question, has KHC considered other ways to achieve the same purpose without doing away with the innovation pool? Again, at this time, I don't think we're going to respond to that type of specific question, but I think that there's we understand, I guess I understand the comment that question is making, I guess, which would be that asking for KHC to assess the possibility of maintaining the innovation pool. So we will take that under consideration. Okay, and so I apologize. Earlier I noted that the recording would not be available on our website. It will be available on KHC's YouTube channel. The next question, it looks like for cities like Louisville, doing away with the innovation pool essentially kills all deals in Louisville due to the current scoring criteria. So we will take that comment into consideration. Thank you. right. Well, I don't see any additional comments. Like I said, I apologize for misspeaking earlier. This recording, the recording of this hearing will be available on KHC's YouTube channel. I appreciate the comments that everyone provided today. Again, you can provide comments to the email address that I noted, and you can find a copy of these proposed changes on our website, KentuckyHousing.org, by selecting developers, multifamily development, partners, developers, multifamily development, and then applications, guidelines, and scoring. We appreciate everyone's time today, and we look forward to working with these comments and taking those into consideration as we finalize our QAP. Thank you, our changes to the QAP. Thank you everyone very much for joining.